let's talk about 28 years later, the Bone Temple. First of all, I'll put my hands up and admit that I was wrong, because on my first watch of 28 years later, the first film, I didn't think much of it. I think I had a lot of expectation because I absolutely love the original film 28 Days Later.
Hello!
So it had a lot of baggage, and they really tried something different in 28 years later. They really went for something, especially with that Jimmy Savile ending, and I was not sure what to think when I saw that for the first time. But on second viewing, I was able to settle in, just let it wash over me, and I loved it the second time. So I was all in for the Bone Temple. Just so everyone knows where 28 years later left off and this one begins, Spike basically goes out on his own into the world after leaving his father and his little island he lived on, and he meets up with the Jimmy Crystal gang, the ones that all represent Jimmy Savile and Teletubbies and Power Rangers and all that fun stuff, or almost all that fun stuff that we used to watch as kids. And this was just after meeting Ralph Fiennes, the iodine-covered doctor who spends his days making a massive memorial out of all the bones of the people lost to the virus. So we jump into this film with two very distinct storylines. Spike, he's off with the Jimmy Crystal gang, getting absolutely mentally abused and manipulated, and let me just say, it is not a fun time. It is actually very grueling and quite disturbing. And on the other hand, we have Ralph Fiennes, aka Dr. Curson, who's doing experiments with Samson, the massive alpha zombie man that we met in the previous film. And you may have seen the trailers, he seems to be working on some sort of cure. But that's all you're getting plot-wise, because I don't want to spoil it that much. But let me just say, it is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the hell out of it. I think it might even be like a fraction, a very, very small fraction, better than the one before it. But there's not much in it. They're pretty much as good as each other. If we take 28 Days Later, the original film, that's the very cold virus that we've been introduced to. Then we have 28 Weeks Later, that is like the placebo pill that does absolutely nothing for you. Then we have 28 Years Later, that is like the antidote. It gives you a slight glimmer of beauty in this very dark apocalyptic world. And this one is like the suppository that gets shoved right up your... It is grueling. Very, very grueling for most of this film. And that's not to say there is some amazing, quite, I'd say light-hearted moments, very fun moments, but most of it is a very, very hard watch. We have torture, mental abuse, so much gore, and it's not really that fun of a time. Yet on the other hand, we have this Dr. Curson storyline, which is very kind of beautiful in a way, and I think that's what we got out of his side of the story in the first 28 Years Later. There's something about Ralph Fiennes in this world. He kind of brings the poetry, he brings the sentiment, and he just comes across as a really lovely man. And for most of the film, he's spending his time with Samson, the big giant of a rage-infected man. And I just want to say, he comes out the GOAT of this film. I absolutely adored him. I didn't think from the first film that I would gel that much with basically a zombie. And yes, they actually call them zombies in this film. Once. They call him a zombie once. So they're zombies now. Sorry, Danny Boyle. You didn't want them to be, but they're zombies now. But yes, not going too much into spoilers, you get kind of glimmers. I mean, you saw it in the trailer. You get glimmers of a past life of this man, of who he was before this virus took over the world. And there's something quite exhilarating and exciting about finding this out. And you'd kind of just resonate with this giant of a man. And he was my standout character in this whole thing. This almost voiceless being just standing there, sedated half the time. There was something beautiful about it. And alongside Ralph Fiennes' wonderful Dr. Kelson, who, I've got to tell you, puts across the greatest scene in this film. It comes towards the end, and all I'm going to say is that he puts on a performance in some ways. I'm not going to tell you what kind of performance, but it's one hell of a performance that had me giggling in the cinema. I could not help myself. I got very excited by what was happening, and it was a hell of a scene. It was one of the greatest scenes I've seen in cinema in quite a while. I mean, I did just see Sinners. It doesn't beat the Sinners scene, but it's very close to being quite an amazing scene like that. And all that kind of lightness and good times against what we have with the Jimmy Crystal gang, it is very polar opposites, and for most of the film you are kind of swallowed up by this darkness, and you find out really who this Jimmy Crystal character is, who's basically, I might as well say it, he's a Satanist. He believes he is the son of Satan himself, or as he likes to call him, Old Nick. And this gang of Jimmy Savile lookalikes just walk the earth looking for people to wreak havoc on, torture, or as they say, give charity to, all while saying, "How's that?" And it is very disturbing, but what a performance O'Connell puts on. It is pretty terrifying. Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. While I was watching this, I thought, how did I ever doubt that Jimmy Savile lookalikes would not absolutely fit in to a post-apocalyptic world where these Jimmy Savile lookalikes can wreak havoc on children in this film. Yes, children in this gang, mentally manipulate people, coerce them into doing their bidding. That's a perfect addition into this horrendous world. And it all comes together into a wonderful, brilliant story. When those two factions, the Jimmy Crystal and the Dr. Kelson factions, they come together, they gel together perfectly. The story intertwines so perfectly to come to a wonderful and quite exciting conclusion, which I loved. Wonderful. It was wonderful, and I really, really hope we get to see the whole story play out. I think they've been saying that it all depends on how this one does at the box office. I'm hoping we get to see this whole story play out, because I am loving it. I'm loving it. It's getting the 9 out of 10 from me. A big 9 out of 10. Is that, if that's translating into stars, it's getting the full 5 stars, which is great. It's exactly what I wanted, and you should see it in the cinema. It was a wonderful experience, and man, what a wonderful set of films these are. So great. Go and watch it, and other than that, I'll see you next time.